Pears. They are related to apples. They are a different fruit. There is nothing else that tastes even close to what a pear tastes like or what the texture feels like when you're eating it. It's a very mild tasting fruit. Now, the pears I have today, because it is in the spring, there's not a lot of selection in the stores, and there's not a lot of the green ones or the immature ones. So these are ripe pears, and I can tell that because it's little gently pressing into it. I can feel that it's softer inside than the skin. These will be absolutely delicious. Now, when you're picking the pears, this would be a ripe pear in the store. This is what you want to pick if you're going to bring it home and you're going to fix it today or tomorrow, and they would be great. But if you got them a little, well, there's not much brown on them, that would be the ideal thing to get. And I'm sorry I couldn't get those for you today. Now, when you're picking out the pear, you see the stem end? There's the blossom end, which is the fat part usually, and it's flatter down there. And then on the other end is the stem end. And when you purchase your pears, you really do want to have the stem in place. Otherwise, they're really, really ripe, or there's been a place for dirt to get inside the fruit. So we're going to do the basic preparation. I'm going to do several ways to do that today. You can just peel it and eat it, or there are some people that don't mind the peel, and it just depends on that particular kind of fruit, pear, how the skin tastes. So you might want to taste it, take a taste, and if you like it, great. If not, peel it. I'm going to show you how to peel it. The best way to do is just to go down the long way and peel it. And there's not much skin on it. The skin on the pear is really thin. And if you can, use a knife that's a paring knife so you can just get between the two. Okay? So you would just go clear around until you get to the end. Now, when you cut this in half, so we'll pretend like some of us want to have the skin on and some of us don't want it. So we're going to cut it in half, and I'll show you the inside of a pear. And there it is. And you can see the resemblance to the apple. Because of the little kind of seeds, they look exactly the same. And they have it in the middle. And they have the five stars. I mean, the star with the 5 points. They are from the rose family. And that's why they're very similar to each other. Except in the texture and taste, it's totally different. So now, how do I want to get this seed out? If you remember when we did the apples, I just take a melon baller, and it's even easier in the pear than it is in the apple to get the seeds out. Now, there's one big difference between the seed area of the pear and the seed area of the apple. There's a little gritty thing. It tastes gritty, and it'll feel gritty in your mouth, and that's what's around here. And sometimes you can see it more defined than this, and the more ripe it is, the less gritty it is. But you want to be sure you get that out. Now, if you're doing taking out the seeds, and we wanted to serve this, you would also want to get rid of, it's kind of like in the strawberry, there's a stem that goes down to the seeds. And this is kind of chewy right there. So I just take the knife and I make a little V cut, and that takes that right out. And on the blossom end, I do the same thing. And when you're cutting in, you can kind of feel that grittiness that's around that. And the grittiness is all the way around here, all the way around here, and all the way around your seed. So now we've got it this way. Okay. Now, if you're going to have to wait a little while, you want to stick these into lemon juice. They're cut pieces. But if you're going to eat them really quickly, you don't need to. They eventually do discolor. Not quite as fast as apples, I found, and I think it's because there's a lot more juice. So now we can cut these in half. And the really nice thing about the pears is we have this little dip in here, and some people kind of fill that with maple syrup or something and eat it that way. You can also grill pears. And the best way to grill pears, actually, let me show you, is to not peel them, to cut them down the middle. Take out the seed case and the little stem ends, and then you just put these on the grill like this in halves. and when you turn it onto the grill, when you first do it, is that you want to lay this side down, and you keep the skin side up, and it kind of makes a little oven for it to cook. And then you might want to turn it over, otherwise it'll get burned on this side. But these are wonderful on the grill. Now, there's a basic syrup that you can put them in, and it's called, some people call it stewing, some people call it poaching. But what you have is you have a 1/2 cup of water and a 1/2 cup of sugar. You combine those together and stir them up. And bring this to a boil, and when it comes to a boil, you just add the kind that you have. If you've cut them into quarters, put the quarters in. If you've cut them into slices, you can put slices in. And if you wanted to have this as whole pears, which is really good, what you can do is, because you don't want to have the seed case in, it is not tasty. So you can turn it upside down, put the stem side down, and you can take your melon baller and go down into it just like an apple and take out the seeds. And it usually takes 3 or 4 scoops to get down to the seeds and get them out. And then I take off the stem, and if the tag is still on there, of course you want to take that off. And you can fill this with more sugar water, and you could sit those in there and you could do them whole. And then you could fill the cavity with other things. When you're doing the whole ones, the one thing you have to be sure is the water gets up to halfway. So you've got to add more water, and you can do it up to halfway standing up, or you could lay them down, but you want to be sure that they're in for about 15 minutes. The best thing to serve with hot pears is ice cream or some whipping cream that's not whipped, and put it on top. So go to my website. I have some other methods of cooking the pears. You can also get them canned. They come in all kinds of cans by themselves, with other fruit, in heavy syrup, or in light syrup, which is fruit syrup, or you can even get it to drink in a pear nectar, one of the best things to drink. So go to my website. I've got some other information about pears, how to cook them, how to use them, and how to keep them from discoloring.